here, Rastignac. I face you as an equal. We're quite friendly.
The story begins in Indochina with Martin Tillman, a fierce deserter who had quietly left England. He was dragged into a filthy pit surrounded by guards and bloodthirsty wardens. This was not just punishment, it was a fight for survival. It was a brutal form of entertainment at Den Dinkin, a harsh forced labor camp deep in the jungles of Burma. With just a few powerful punches, Martin took down his opponent without breaking a sweat. From above, Steiner, a ruthless former German soldier, ruled the camp with an iron fist and a cold stare. He controlled everything: labor, prisoners, and the underground fights that fueled his gambling empire. But Martin's raw strength and quiet resilience caught his attention. To Steiner, this was not just an ordinary brawl. It was the emergence of a new weapon he could exploit. Steiner ordered his right-hand man, Rastignac, to kill the fighter who had just lost, sending a clear message that in this camp, survival was never guaranteed for the defeated. As Martin was dragged back to his cell, the guards began harassing a local woman named Isabel. Without hesitation, Martin stepped in, headbutting one of them to the ground, catching Isabel's attention and earning her sympathy. A while later, to Martin's surprise, the same woman brought flowers to the prison for Steiner, something she did every week. Martin wondered why she would be kind to a man like him. Instead of answering, she teased him, asking if he wanted flowers. Meanwhile, an MI6 agent from England arrived, seeking to extradite Martin for a wartime revenge killing. But Steiner refused. He saw Martin as his top fighter and a valuable asset in the underground matches, capable of bringing him huge profits. Later, Steiner offered to set Martin free in exchange for his loyalty and service under his command. But Martin refused, determined to win back his life on his own terms. Fearing the British agent wouldn't leave without Martin, Steiner decided to release him. After being released from prison, Martin struggled to adjust to life and found shelter at the home of Isabel and her stepfather, Valentine. He discovered that Isabel was Steiner's estranged daughter, trying to earn her father's recognition through symbolic gestures. Martin began a peaceful new life, working at Valentine's bar, and eventually starting a romantic relationship with Isabel. One night, the bar was packed with rowdy drunks. When a fight broke out between two men, Valentine signaled Martin to step in.
Out there for Legion deserters. You look like a fellow who likes a good terror. Listen. Is that your knees, eh? Bounce it up!
Martin quickly subdued and defeated his opponent. Later, he realized that the man he had beaten was one of Steiner's fighters. Shortly afterward, Boone and Rastignac arrived at the bar to confront him. They ordered Martin to replace the injured fighter and compete for Steiner, or face severe consequences. At first, Martin refused, unwilling to get involved in Steiner's brutal world. But Rastignac warned that if he refused again, everyone in the bar, including Valentine and Isabel, would suffer. After careful consideration, Martin agreed not for glory, but to protect the people he now saw as family. He was taken back to the ring, where he had to face the thug he had humiliated at the bar the day before. Once again, Martin defeated him, this time with even greater force and determination. From that moment on, he became unbeatable in the underground arena, defeating every opponent and bringing Steiner enormous profits. Later, a British agent came to Valentine's bar, asking about Martin and offering a £10,000 reward for information. Valentine lied to protect him and refused to take the money. Soon after, Steiner offered Martin a long-term contract, promising fame, wealth, and a future built on violence. Though briefly tempted, Martin remained torn between the brutal world he had mastered and the peaceful life he had always longed for. Determined to leave everything behind, Martin planned to escape with Isabel, but they needed money to start over. Steiner offered him one last fight on the condition that he would lose, and Martin agreed. What Martin didn't know was that Valentine, without telling anyone, had placed a large bet on him to win, even wagering the entire bar. Martin pulled off the fix successfully and was paid a substantial amount, enough to start a new life with Isabel. But just as hope began to grow, Rastignac stormed into the bar. He confronted Valentine, demanding the bar's money. Isabel begged him to stop, but he showed no mercy. In desperation, Valentine drew his gun, but Rastignac was faster. In an instant, Rastignac shot and killed both Valentine and Isabel. A few minutes later, Martin arrived, but it was too late to save them. Rastignac also shot Martin and ordered his men to bury both him and Isabel. However, they were still alive. Somehow, Martin crawled out of the shallow grave, wounded and gasping for breath. Martin took Isabel to safety and left her with the local villagers. From that moment, everything changed. He trained day and night, pouring all his rage into every punch. He was no longer fighting just to survive. He was coming back to end it all at once. One afternoon, Martin stormed into the bar, now packed with Steiner's men. Without saying a word, he attacked.
Give him a drink.
A wise man.
Only one thug managed to escape. He ran to warn Steiner that Martin was coming back for revenge. Inside his office, Steiner had his men ready, but Martin outsmarted them and slipped in through another way.
Martin, look. So many times in my life.
Forced to keep one man.
Men!
What was there?
Take it! Faced that before. You're a scum that got lucky.
Without
for
hesitation, he drove a knife into Steiner's stomach, leaving him to die the same way he had ruled, full of hatred and alone. As soon as Steiner fell, Boone entered and challenged Martin to a one-on-one fight. Martin accepted.
This is my life.
Even though he was covered in blood and barely standing. When Boone knocked him down, Martin grabbed a rifle and shot him dead on the spot.
It's around, he's coming. Loosen your appetite for blood.
Not really.
Now, only one target remained: Rastignac, hiding deep in the jungle, heavily guarded and consumed by paranoia. Soon after, Martin found Rastignac, and they fought.
They both know that I face you as an equal. We're quite friendly.
Martin ended it using Rostignac's own knife. Justice was served for Valentine, Isabel, and all those whose camp had been destroyed by Steiner. Later, when an MI6 agent tried to take Martin back to England, he made it clear he was no longer being hunted and threatened to kill the agent if he persisted. Realizing the war was over, the agent backed off.